Free thought revolution. What's up? I'm looking a little scrawny. I feel a little scrawny. I'm sorry. It's been heavy and hard out here working. And I apologize. Look, I was supposed to do this live. And I know y'all gonna be like, nah, you really not coming with this nonsense. But look at, you ready for it? My dog ate my internet. I'm sorry. Like, no joke, no joke. He decided to take a bite out of my Starlink wire, and so I don't get to drop this live. But that doesn't take away the seriousness of what I'm about to say today. And I want to talk about shooting for the stars. That's what I want to talk about today. Shooting for the stars. And I'm going to give you an image so we can walk into this and feel everything that we're supposed to feel as we discuss this. All right. So last night or I can't remember which night it was, but we were playing Cannon. It's a version of kickball, but it's more inclusive. So we're playing Cannon as a family. There's 8 of us out there enjoying. The sniggling y'all hear? That's my kids and my wife. And I wanted them here for this so they could hear this and also maybe throwing some stuff. So I apologize for that break. But look. So we playing kickball out there. We all just sitting there doing our digs, having fun, rolling the ball, kicking the thing. It's the business. It's bedtime. We go and sit down as a family. We eat our meal. We're good. We sit down together. Everybody gets in their spaces, take our breath. Now we go to bed. We wake up in the morning. Uma and Bob have gotten up early. We making breakfast. We want to try to make sure we send the kids off to school right. We fortunate. We fortunate. We live in a space in a place where we get to take our kids to school. We get to drop them off. My wife is a teacher, and I work within the schools. I drop in there and I do different programs, give them art, give them little athletic activities, do some videos for things. Specifically, I help out with directing change. Shout out directing change. They do some serious topics. So anyway, we're making breakfast. We're all finally sitting down, getting to eat together. We've already went and fed all the animals. You know, my daughter argued and shouted a bit, but she finally went out there. We fed the dogs, and they're sitting under our feet as we're eating. Beautiful. Kids are doing exactly what kids are supposed to do when they need something passed to them, like the syrup. They're standing on their chair and they're reaching across and grabbing it, and we're being just like parents. Go, hey, get back! It's family. We hop into the car. Well, you know, the big ass transport van, because there's a lot of us in this mother. Dog's in there too, because I take my dog everywhere. That's my dog. So anyway, we're rolling. We go to school. We drop off the kids, give them the hug, the kiss. I love you. See you later. I'm like, oh, no, I'm not gonna. Don't ride the bus. I'll be here to pick you up. You go to the club after school club. I'm gonna pick you up. Just we'll be good. All right. You know, go drop off. You know, I stay at home. I'm the stay at home papa. You know what I mean? So I go drop the wife off, give her a kiss, give her love, and mind you, again, small community. So the schools are like right next to each other. They ain't even had that far. So I'm on my way back home. Kids are out during recess. They decided to go play this game and stuff, and all of a sudden there's just siren after siren driving by me. I don't even get to move anymore. And mind you, I don't never hear no sirens out here except for the fire trucks, because fire be a mother. But I don't never hear no sirens out here. Addendum: we hear sirens when we end up seeing motorcyclists that have been hit on the road. I say my grace and I give my appreciation because that happens far too often. With that being said, I gotta speak up. I'm sorry, the mic ain't picking me. So, with that being said, I'm seeing all these sirens go by and I'm not understanding what the hell is going on. And then I get out of my car because I ain't moving, so why not? And I get out of my car, and mind you, I don't live that damn far, but I get out of my car, and all of a sudden, My life is frozen now because I know that sound. That's an AK. It's an AR. That is a big gun going pop, pop. Those are sirens that are now driving past me to go to a scene with pop, pop. Those are my kids that were out at recess, running around, dodging bullets, trying to run inside their classroom, not to pick up tidbits of knowledge, but afraid that they gonna carry bits of their classmates and not the whole with them into class. What's up, Free Thought? Today we talk about shooting for the stars. Mass shooters shooting for the stars. I hope that story sinks in with you because that's the story that I live with every single day that I send my kids to school, and I wonder, they gonna make it home? There was a mass shooting in San Diego, the San Diego Islamic Center. And I gotta tell you, the first thought that went through my head was, oh shit, is that my cohort? Is that my homies down there at the Muslim Community Center? And I can't really say thank God it wasn't, because there were still some other kids that were getting popped. We need to have a discussion where we sit and really look in the face of what we are saying we are okay with. Because what we're saying we're okay with is not just the freedom for individuals to be able to bear arms to protect themselves and in defense of a government gone awry. Please read your amendments. Many of them about to be taken away. Read your amendments. Context of that has changed quite a bit, and then it's kind of circled back around. But what I'm saying is the idea that we're supposed to be able to just have these guns, just have these arms, because we need to be able to protect against these cats who might go, this soldier gets to stay in your place and you don't have a choice. Or they just decide, we go round up all you because we don't like you. We don't have a choice, right? So, in the context of that, I don't believe that not only, ready for it, this is a double whammy. Not only should our children have to wear bulletproof backpacks in order to protect their homework while their heads are getting the fuck blown off. But their homework, that book report, oh, that motherfucker, oh, that's an A plus and it's clean. Yeah, there's gonna be some cursing in this one. I need y'all to feel and hear this. We're okay with that. Matter of fact, I'm actually waiting for the new fast fashion trend of bulletproof hoodies and skinny jeans. You know what I'm saying? And I'm looking forward to the video. Matter of fact, I don't know who gonna do it, but I know they gonna have somebody do a music video in some bulletproof shit, and then they gonna have somebody sitting there doing trying to make sure it look cool, because we got to make sure that it seems cool to the kids, so they forget that they're putting on military garb so that they can go get an education. We got to make the parents ignore the fact that they are sending their children to school with military garb to run around with Billy, Jamal, Kareem, and then go inside and learn them a little bit of 1 plus 1. I'm waiting for y'all to tell me how that makes any sense. So my view of school as a kid, and you're gonna love where this takes us. My view of school as a kid was, oh, this is the one place I'm safe. For many kids, it's a secondary place where they're safe. More importantly, for parents like me who send their kids there, it better be a place where my kids are safe. And what y'all forget is there are many kids who at home ain't safe. So they're looking for school to be that safe place. And now they are full fledged Olympic athletes and dodge bullet. Don't get no better. Our kids, they be posing and voguing while they be dodging them bullets.
Okay. Fine. Right.
So,
Right.
again, y'all gotta tell me how this is normal. But again, my view is it was a safe place. It was a place where I might let me take the mic back. So let me take it was a place where I got in hella trouble, but I was still safe. I still had structure. I knew if a bad guy came on campus, well, they was gonna stop that cat before anything. I'm 43 years old. I got like 2.5 weeks until I hit 44. And you really ready for this? I have been dealing with the terror, the stress, the trauma, the the fear of being shot while being a student for 30 years. Hi, I'm Columbine. I'm a geriatric millennial whose first year of high school experience was knowing that two kids went to their high school and shot it up. It changed everything. Everything.
And then it became normal after that.
And wait, and so y'all really get the complexity of how it became so normal after that. All of us blackens at my school, all 20 of us, maybe 30. And it wasn't that small of a school. We still had a pretty big graduating class. It was just, we don't make up that much of the population in country spaces. So anyway, we all started sitting at lunch together. I'm looking over that brother's shoulder, that brother's looking over this shoulder, that brother's looking that way, that brother's looking this way. And if you think it's a joke, I'm telling you, we were fucking serious. We were sitting there one day, and I'm thinking, this is how serious it was. We were sitting there eating, and I want to say it was like some taco nacho some stuff. That was what they were serving at the camp. But I went and got me some like fries and some other dig. But anyway, we sitting there eating and we talking. Somebody may have said some stupid joke. We laughing. Somebody outside dropped a book bag, and all you hear out is this loud. Man, all of us froze. Man, when I say froze, it wasn't the freeze like huh or nah, we froze. Everybody was in their goddamn Usain Bolt position. We was about to break out that motherfucker. It was about to be a whole bunch of black blurs. Shoo! Coaches were gonna look up and go, "What the fuck just happened?" Think about that. We kids. We are kids at school eating food, and we're consciously aware somebody might come pop up. I thought y'all didn't like that type of stuff around your kids. Matter of fact, Eminem made a whole song about that. Y'all supposed to be the ones that don't like none of that stuff around your children. Y'all supposed to, matter of fact, y'all supposed to be ones that don't like me around your children. My black ass. And you definitely don't want my black ass with these wonderful locks. Nah, I'm too, well, you see all of this? You don't want me around your kids because of how I look, because of how I talk, because of the way I move, because of the flavor I bring. And you okay? You okay with a gun? And I want to give you the real seriousness of this, because this is the part that I think many people are really failing to understand. And we'll get to some other more complex stuff, but we're going to hit this right here. Think about this. We have disassociated our young men so far from being able to identify and properly process the emotions that they are going through. So much so that we've limited them to like three: anger, sadness, and this ain't a feeling, but sex. That's it. We've given our boys three feelings: anger, sad, and sex. If they ain't getting sex, they angry. And boy, once they get too angry, they feel sad. Because, man, I ain't got no poo-tang. And after they too sad and angry, boy, guess what? Pop, pop. Because, mind you, half these kids, they're not really getting the structure at home that they need, right? And we know this. I'm not going to try to dive into this masculine toxicity and society and all that stuff. No, I'm not going to take it there. I'm going to say this: how often you talk to your kid instead of your kid talk to your phone or their phone? How often do you get to have this actual interaction? Instead, they're going over here. So already we're talking about distant relationships. Or already we're talking about kids who don't have a real understanding. Already we're talking about kids that are sitting on their phones and sitting on these social media apps looking for somebody outside to give them the appreciation that they need, to give them the understanding that they deserve. Now, you can say, hey, but that's just because, well, I really don't care what you say. It's because I can tell you that in some manner you didn't inject or invest yourself enough. So now we have this young, frustrated male. Maybe it's because they didn't get no sex. Maybe they just angry because at home they not really getting treated like they actually deserve to be. Maybe at home they getting treated like they don't exist. Maybe at home they have no connection to anybody in that household, so they feel so alone and isolated they ain't got nobody to talk to. And then at school, oh, they love school, right? Because at school they get these cats that sit there and laugh at their clothes because they can't really get no real clothes because their parents don't care enough for them to go actually buy their clothes. So really they be getting their clothes from whoever they can get some from. They be trying to clean up their image and try to take care of themselves, but the fact is, they don't really get that chance and opportunity because where they live ain't really set up for that, and because their parents treat them like shit. So really, they just kind of like, fuck, I'm just trying to survive, and I'm looking for a friend. They ain't got no friend because nobody sees past that at school. So now where they gonna turn? Mm-hmm. But my mom's got all these guns, and my dad be letting me shoot them, so why not? And when you get that angry and that frustrated and have zero outlet and all that builds up, and every time you walk anywhere, all you could think of is, you know what? I remember what that motherfucker said to me. I remember what she said to me. You know what? I remember what my dad did to me. I remember what my mom. Well, so it's got to go somewhere. Fact is, these kids are suicidal because every single one of them knows they're not going to walk away. Well, they know they shouldn't necessarily walk away, but many of them do. And I'm not mad at that because I'd rather see their life saved and try to be saved than for us to lose another because we failed. We, as a society, as a community, we failed. Those are kids. That's our job. Takes a village. Where the village at? So the village that failed this kid is so gone, so lost, that they have decided that they have to take their peers with them. Mind you, not every single one of these kids, none of them will ever sit there and try to claim that they don't have a single friend. Sometimes they take the friend to go shoot with them. Sometimes they end up shooting some of these cats that weren't necessarily someone they didn't like, but you know what? They were in the crossfire. But they're shooting their classmates, their peers. They're shooting people that they spend almost as much time with their family. And they're doing it with an indiscretion that would be worthy of medals on Call of Goddamn Duty. Pop, pop. And we're good with this. We are 150% good with this. Because look at, here's the solution. Here's one of the biggest solutions that has been thrown about. Think about this. We talked about how we said that we don't want guns and bullets around our kids. And we don't want them around our kids so much that we actually have laws and legislation that prevents those types of buildings, those type of sales, and those types of items from being within a whole bunch of distance from schools and homes and residential areas. We make sure that there's space so that kids can be out and play and not have to see that imagery, not be around that sound. We make sure that the shooting ranges be out all in the right. So if we're okay, I apologize. Somebody farted before we started, and we had to air this mother out. So we ain't okay with that. So we don't want none of that stuff around our kids. We enforce it legally, but we care so little about them actually being penetrated by the items we don't want anywhere near them that we actually find ways to ensure that people are freely able to walk on campuses with those items. And then our solution, again, our solution to solve that is simply to go, you know what? Let's put somebody else with a gun on there. More guns. Yeah, buddy. What? What? Explain to me how any of that, in any context, makes any sense. The one thing we don't want around them, well, let's throw more around them because somehow if we throw more around them and maybe if we put it in the right hands, then it'll stop them from coming. And yet that hasn't happened and we're still not looking for a new solution. Instead, we're still thinking, you know what? Well, maybe instead of just the security guard, let's get us some armed teachers, baby. You know what armed teachers do? And armed security, technically, too? Their bullets do not have bad guy seeking aim. Their bullets have the same directionality, projectionality, and trajectory as any other bullet. So, in fact, and in honesty, we're just adding more pow pow to a situation where there shouldn't be any pow pow. In fact, I'm going to give it to you this way. We're asking our kids to shoulder warfare as children and expect them to grow up as children. And then be healthy, adjusted, well adjusted adults and go have faith, have families, and take them to family events and cover their children while they're at the family event so that they don't get shot by a sniper that's up in the 11th floor of the building. We're in a society that is so in love with the ability, with the empowerment to take a life that we have forgotten what it means to invest in saving one. And I mean that. Man, look, we've set up our capitalistic society where it is cheaper to get a couple of bullets and off something than it is to try to go take them to a vet or take them to a doctor and get some goddamn pills to get them healthy. And the pills might be something stupid and simple, but it don't matter. Y'all remember when insulin went from 0 to 150? So I want to talk a little bit about the gun part. I'm country now. Well, let me take that back. I always been country, but I'm back in the country now, baby. Should I sing a little dig for you? I'll sing a little dig for you. Cause I'm country. There we go. That's my dig. We ain't doing that. No, not today. Nah, fuck that. But I'm back out in the country. Now we Cali, so there ain't the country where cats is just walking around like John Wayne in the Wild West that was faux images and mockery of some stuff, but we ain't gonna jump into that either today. What I'm saying is, we don't walk around with the guns just all out like that. But there's guns. I mean, for real. Like, if you got 3 acres and you living out here, there be mountain lions. And if you got kids, there could be a need to have a gun to make sure you can scare off that thing. And mind you, that gun still might need to be big enough in case the scaring didn't work. So I've had to get a new appreciation of guns. And when I say new appreciation, it means I've had to get an appreciation because y'all know I've never liked guns. And to be honest with you, I still don't like guns. Don't. I don't know that I ever will because the only purpose for a gun is not a training exercise. Like, and if you're training for it, well, the only exercise you're training for is to kill something. Unless you're doing some, unless you're doing gun jitsu and you knocking folks all over the noggin and you don't never put no bullets in that and you pretended to be Eminem trying to act like he horrible shooting at somebody, but instead was just angry and said, I'm just beat him with the gun. Like, it's a tool of death. Christian society, tool of death. The oxymoron, if ever there were one. So these guns that are so important. Now supposedly they don't quite cause as many deaths as cancer and some other heart diggity. And I would normally be a little bit more, how do you say, objective, right? I guess that'd be the word. Because if we're going on statistics and numbers, then we're just taking the numbers as raw information and we're not applying any of the actual human attributes or emotional attributes to it. But nah, so we're talking death. Death is human. Death, we got to talk about the actual attributes of what. So when we talk about those, I tell you, most of those are some old people that made their own choice. Me included. Like I'm look, it might hit me later, but it's old people, right? And I don't say that to disregard us old folk. I say that to say that we have had ample opportunity to be able to not just make directional change in our life, the journey that we're going, but to also ensure that we're living a pathway that allows us for optimal health so that we're not ending up with some of these stupid stuff. Some of it might just be we were predisposed and, DNA and all that stuff. Cool. Happens. Sorry. Bless. But can you tell me when ever a full metal jacket was ever a natural cause? I'm lost upon that. Or how about a hollow point? I've never heard of cases of hollow point. So if none of that stuff is natural, and we as the grown ass folk have ability to really find ways to prevent this from happening, and we got to talk about this, right? Because here's the thing. Here's the thing. too many of these. I'm not going to give guesstimates one way or the other. I want to say this: too many of these are kids. Kids. So many parents are on edge right now because of this Iran stuff that's going on. We're afraid that it might pop off to a point where, all right, our kids are going to get sent over there. And mind you, when we're talking about our kids in that context, we talking about kids that we say are grown because they've reached a nominal age. They are 18 and above, and we still call them kids. Now we're talking these grown kids, and we don't want them off somewhere. Think about that. They signed up to be soldiers, to go somewhere, to do soldier stuff. And we don't want them going over there doing what they fucking trained for. That is their profession. Murderers, killers. No, don't hide from it now. Yeah, that's what they is. They are trained killers. They're trained to go somewhere and kill somebody. Marines are army of one. And we don't want our army of one being exposed to a dangerous situation. But man, fuck them kindergarten kids. Them little bastards be running around neat acting like they on cocaine. Some of them could use some pop. Maybe they'll dodge enough bullets and dance out that energy, go home and be tired. So, not just any gun. I mean, the context of these ARs and whatnot being assault rifles has really been broken down because they don't have the same capability to really shift to full and all this stuff. But yes, they are still the weapon, mold, whatever, that is used in wars. More importantly, let's just simply discuss this. Not gonna argue with folks about whether folks should have it in the streets or shouldn't. It's opinion. And if we really want to go there, how about this? If they're not hurting anybody, I really don't give a. I'm concerned with the fact that we have such lax concern for our students, for our kids, for our youth, that not only are we giving them these weapons, but we're training them with emotional neglect, with a failure to actually prepare for emotional turmoil. That we're simply looking at them and saying, I dealt with it, you'll figure it out. Like this is a hazing project. And then we're giving them guns that unfortunately could mow down a classroom. And the twist to this is so many of these kids, if you notice the targeting, they don't really tend to target police. They don't tend to target government officials. And I'm not saying that like they should. I don't want them targeting anybody. But I'm saying that so that y'all really recognize that these cats are looking past adults. They're looking past the individuals that have signed up, unfortunately, like this brave security guard, and I forget the name of this mother. I do wish I could say it so y'all would remember it, and because that cat needs to, they need to be said. But like this cat who signed up for it, they actually signed up. They expect that this maybe could be something that happened. They're walking right past him and trying to go get them the other cats. They're trying to get your Becky, your Marcus, your Anthony, your Kylie, your Anpu, your Tonk. They're trying to hit where it hurts. They're trying to hit your shooting stars before they even get to fucking accelerate out of the fucking atmosphere of Earth. They stuck over here on the ground in a chalk outline. They friend over there, Tyrone. He was over there doodling. He drew a nice little family of folks. And Washington decided to come in and, well, now Esmeralda's laying. You know, the hardest part about it too is we're looking at folks and going, they're heroes for stopping a mass shooter. That's not to say they're not, but can I ask you this? Do you really want a society where we are indoctrinating individuals as being a hero because they stopped someone from shooting 25 people and instead the cat only shot 18? Like, we're setting up a society looking for regular mundane individuals to become goddamn superheroes and sacrificing their life. And imagine, think about this. This dude didn't make it. The security guard at the San Diego Islamic Center got killed. He doesn't get to go home to whatever family he had at home if he had kids. If that cat had a wife, had a husband, they don't get to go home. They don't get to go see their mama. They don't get to see their papa. But you know what they saved? They saved, I think it was a kabillion people. They're a hero. That dude is a hero. I don't want to be a hero. Because you know, if I become a hero, my kids lose their dad. I don't want my wife to be a hero. Because then my kids lose their goddamn mama. These are regular folks that got families of their own, and you want them to sacrifice their life so that your kids can survive instead of doing something so that none of these cats have to worry about that. Because we okay with dodge bullet, right? And y'all want to discuss, and I said 30 years, but the fact is, this didn't even start 30 years ago. Technically, this started back about 79 or something, so up in Sacramento, Stockton. Dude grabbed some guns, went on a campus, popped. I mean, it's almost 50 years. And hold on, you want me to send my kids to school? You can't even ensure they safe. Aside from the whack ass education you really not giving them, and you want me to send them to school. So basically, what you're saying is you want me to send my kids in some bright ass yellow goddamn uniforms, maybe have them a little duck bill and a target on their ass, and walk around so they can just have somebody decide one day to go play some goddamn target practice. Because other than that, I'm really not sure what you're giving my kids because we've all sitting here looking at the education system and wondering, well, fuck, what are my kids trying to learn? So it's like I'm going sending my kids to a carnival for somebody to decide to go win them a goddamn fucking. I shot the most this time. Who's gonna beat me? And yeah, it's probably my kids because these cats hit the bullies and then they find them some melanin. And my kids ain't gonna be no bullies, but my kids got that melanin. And I'd love to send them to a private school, but you know, history. Yeah, you better go read you some history. History has set up some situations for individuals like me where statistically and notoriously we're not quite able to afford the high prices of the private schools, which were actually only really instituted when desegregation popped up as a different place to educate them precious other babies. You know, there don't tend to be many shootings at private schools. So, and mind you, let's talk about this on the other side of that. Because this is the part that I've never understood. So I went to go see my one of my other sons do a heavy metal scream concert. Take your earplugs. It was fire. Take your earplugs. Mosh pit, gangster. Take your earplugs. Throw them bows. Take your earplugs. So going to hear my son, right? I lost the context. I lost the context. Take your earplugs. So anyway, I'm gonna try to find it while I retread and talk some shits. Okay. I really did lose it. Anyway, so go to listen to my son doing his concert, doing all his digs, shaking, bobbing, threading out. It it's cool. It was a cool vibe. Fortunately, I didn't have to go through a metal detector. I hate them things. I didn't necessarily have to get pat down like I had to take some stuff out of my pockets. They did the wand at me, you know, how they act like they magicians. Boop, 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 boop. What's in it? Boop, boop, boop. Okay, thank you. That's it. Didn't have to do nearly as much as I'd hoped. Went to the ER. Ready for this? Took my son to the ER because he broke his wrist. Walk up security guard because I know they want to check me, and I really hate them mothers because it doesn't make sense that before I go to a place that I'm going because I am so sick that I feel like I'm going to die, or I'm so sick or broken that something needs to be mended, that I got to go check in with somebody first who has a big ass gun. Just a thought. But anyway, so I go to the ER, walk up to this cat with the big ass gun while I'm holding my son, you know, to get inside, broken wrist, but it's okay. I need you to go through the scanner. So now we have to go and walk around and go through this scanner that's going to check. As we go, okay, fool. We go to walk in. I still need to check you. Wait a minute. What the? Anyway, I'm not going to go into that context. But look at. So I went through a scanner. We get wanded. We have these metal detectors, and we hate them. Many folks avoid going to places that have them. But you love the idea of sending kids to a place of education where the first thing that they're introduced to on their day being welcomed into this wonderful facility is a metal detector. If I invited you to my home so that we could sit down and have a meal, break bread, and just enjoy an evening, grill, get down, barbecue, you know what I'm saying? Would you walk through? I had a metal detector at the door. You coming if I'm wanding you down? No? You sure? Some really good shit on the grill. You're gonna miss out. Then why the hell are you sending your kids to institutions like that? And why the hell are you okay with it? And for the folks again, because private schools they somehow luck out on you know kids doing very tragic and unfortunate things. Y'all should care too. Y'all should. If you think y'all's untouchable, please go read the news. Your kids might be a little healthier right now, but this is a tragic thing that's hitting all kinds of places. This is a tragic thing that until it hits you, you keep saying, nah, it couldn't be me, it couldn't be me. And remember, so back to my high school days, I lucked out. I was fortunate as hell. I graduated, nothing happened. Now, graduation ceremony, I have a dude who's my homie, but he was a really off cat. And when I say that, he was a cat that didn't physically fit. He had some real awkward stuff, so he got picked on all 4 years. I had to stand up for him a couple times. Anyway, we about to have our graduation ceremony, and my homie can't go. Somehow there's whispers of him shooting up the graduation. So they expelled him from the graduation. He had to come pick up his diploma 2 weeks after, and they, I think, well, I can't say what else may have been, so I won't. But my homie didn't get to walk with me. The next year, the younger brother of a player that I played football with brought a gun to the school and shot himself. A little bit later that year, somebody else brought a gun and tried to shoot somebody else. 2 years after I graduated, somebody brought a gun to school, tried to shoot their girlfriend or ex girlfriend. I forget the exact nomenclature at the time. It didn't quite work, so then they tried to run to the bathroom and shoot themselves, I think. And then there was another cat that brought a gun to school but got told on before they got to pull it out. Again, that's four in the span of 2 years. Technically five if homie was actually going to do it in the span of two in a graduation. Which means in my 4 year education or 6 year educational career, I could have been involved in five different school shootings. Had the timing been a little here or there. And now we got kids today that are actually surviving five different school or mass shootings. For me, it was a fantasy, a dream. If that had happened back then, man, look, I could have talked all kinds of stuff. I'd be a senator or a congressman right now, reeling in all kinds of lobbyist money, pretending like I was going to do something about gun rights and instead, just making up some stuff. I'd be rich, bitch. Today, if you survive a shooting, nobody care. Unless you're the hero. So why? No, you tell me. This one I can't answer for you. Why? Why are we okay with this? Why is it so important? Why ain't we done a damn thing except better equip our soldiers to go to school? And think about this while we're equipping them to go to school. We many times don't allow our younger kids, 6, 7 year olds. We don't really allow them to play with guns and do crazy stuff because we tell them you don't understand you don't understand death yet. You don't know what that really is. What are you gonna tell them when their classmates been capped in the head next to them? So many of these kids understand death better than any of us at this point because they've lost classmates. And they don't really understand it until they lose the classmate. So think about this. We send in these kids. All right. So imagine if you took a soldier or you just took somebody and you sent them somewhere and you never told them, hey, when you get there though, you probably gonna have to fight. Otherwise, you gonna die. Now, it's not a certainty, but there might be some situations where it is gonna be life or death. And if you freeze, you not gonna make it. We gonna prep and train you. We gonna do these practices every once in a while. We gonna call them lockdowns. We gonna call them lockdowns, right? Yeah, it's a game though. We just practice it. So we gonna practice every once in a while. We'll get and you'll kind of get an idea of what you might should do in case it happens. But again, this we can't really tell you what you should do if it happens because the fact is we're not gonna be there. But go. It's okay. No. And you have to go 180 days. Yeah, I know it's a lot and it raises the stakes. Technically, it makes the statistics magnify so that every day you're there, it actually raises the opportunity and the chance that it could happen to you. And it's a good trade off. No, it is. Take this backpack. No, I promise it'll keep your homework safe. Duck under it. Yeah, like John Wick. Remember the John Wick movie? Yeah. Why? 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 Like I have nothing for you. Why? Do we value life that little? We value our youngest, our most precious, our most vulnerable that little. Because I know we value them so much that we're going to make women carry them for 10 months, regardless of what they health and what it does to them. But it seems like after they kind of out. Wait, hold on. Where'd y'all go? Uh, Shit, I swear. Look, I swear. Look, 5 minutes ago, when that baby was still in there and she was pushing, they was holding my hand, cheering. They gone now. That baby is out here sucking. They gone. They gone. But they left a gun and some bullets. That's fortunately actually really where we at. Y'all will fight with those guns to make sure that baby is born. And then once it's born, oh, you good. You'll leave the shit there because hey, maybe the baby needs it at 7. Teacher. The damn teacher kept him in from recess one too many times. He told that bitch. Told him. He said, bitch, Mr. Sampson, you keep me in from recess one more time. It's going to be more than that ball I'm popping. It's funny, right? Because it's kind of funny. It's supposed to be a joke. I just made a statement about a 7-year-old kid threatening his fucking teacher, calling him a bitch, and saying he was going to pop him, and the fact that he popped him, and we can't really laugh. It stings too much right here by the unicorn. We can't laugh because, and then it starts hitting like, oh, wait, I know a teacher. I know a 7-year-old kid. So, how do we move from here? I have a new appreciation and understanding of guns. I do. Because out here in this country, boy, I wish I had me something that would allow me to ensure a little bit better protection for my family. I'm not gonna lie, because I can call the cops. I can, and even if they show up, they'll help. But that's like a 30-minute drive. Like, hey, even if they floored it, it's still about a 30-minute drive, and that's from the close substation. Like living out here in the country, you almost kind of on your own. So again, I understand. But how do we move from a place where a parent feels it's appropriate to leave a gun with their student after they draw some pictures of dead people? How do we feel it's appropriate for parents to be buying their young teens these guns that we feel is essential for our soldiers to take at least 3 months of boot camp training to make sure they know how, and then continue that training all pretty much throughout their entire professional career to young kids to go shoot at some fucking bottles? How do we go from that to a place where, all right, yes, you responsible individuals. Yeah, y'all go play and do all you want with your guns. But we're able to have a lot more assurity of safety and security for the children that we're sending to get that education. That when we're going out to these family events and places, we're not worried about. I know one way, you can call it socialist as hell if you want to. You can call it communist as hell if you want to. But you know what? One thing that would really make a lot of this a lot less likely to happen, we really need to invest in full mental and medical universal care. How many of them mass shootings could have been stopped if them cats had a therapist to talk to? Maybe all of them. But like, if we're not going to have a more stringent, and mind you, so folks who are trying to understand, there is a stringent pathway to try to own a gun. Like it takes some work. I went and talked to some folks. I got some instructors and stuff that have given me information. It takes some work. It does. But the problem is, once you get it, then you just got it, and then you can go crazy and do stupid. So we can't do this. All right, well, you have to pass this test or you have to go take these because our amendment puts us in a position to where, well, you just have to be a certain age because, mental health, blah, blah, blah. And you have to be a certain, not crazy and not criminal. Stupid still does stupid. So how do we make sure too stupid doesn't get them? How do we make sure that more importantly, we just have the access to ensure that individuals that get to a point where they might have to go pop a whole bunch of cats ain't feeling that pop and don't do it. I really think that 100% everybody being able to access medical mental health is probably gonna be the biggest boost. Aside from that, I need y'all to holler at your boy. Because I got nothing else. I know nothing else. Except for this. Here's the last thing. It's going to be a quick part, too, because I don't really have too much on this. But when it hits home, no, that's when the real change going to make. So I'll leave with this. And these going to be my 2 points in a biscuit and basket and whatever else. Not because I'm tired, but just because I. So how about this? When our children can go to an institution of higher learning, of education, of community facilitation, of social engagement, and they don't ever have to worry. And we as parents don't pass on our worry and our fear of a stranger invading that sacred space, that safe space. We as a community will not only have risen higher than we've been for quite some time, our children will be able to access so much more of their talent, of their skill, of themselves, that the blessing that we'll receive from being able to live vicariously through the dreams and passions and fruits that they're able to ascend to will change the world. Ramazis Tech. This is Free Thought Revolution. I hope y'all listen and take this in and strive for some serious change. You know the digs. You know how it rolls. Be revolutionary. Holla at your boy. Bless! And holla at your boy.